to enjoy racial and religious harmony in Singapore. As every one of us know, it is important. We owe to many who make every effort to uphold it in our society from the past to now. Thus, it is important for us to make it a culture or tradition to continue the mission of listening to keep Singapore a harmonious place without fear. So we are happy that to see the Harmony Center had taken the initiative to organize these interfaith dialogues or these interfaith lectures in memories of Abdul Alim Siddiqui. So, as the president of MUIS has mentioned, this is very important message, not for us young at heart, and also young inward and outwards, you know. I think we must give something, leave something to the youth before we leave this world. Otherwise, they will complain to us. We don't give them anything, treasures, you know. We don't leave any access to them. And this, I think, good access we are leaving behind to them. On behalf of Singapore Buddhist Federation, I would like to express my greatest gratitude towards MUIS and Harmony Center for giving us an opportunity for our representative, Sumana, to be the speaker for the second Abdul Alim Siddiqui Interfaith Lecture. We feel very honored and would like to praise the good initiative by the MUIS and Harmony Center to organize this. To you, the audience, thanks for the support and your attendance, your encouragement will surely inspire every Singaporean, especially the young, to work zealously for promoting interfaith harmony as what our ancestors have done before. Thanks, and may you be well and happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Venerable. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Abdul Alim Siddiqui Memorial Lecture is yet another milestone in Harmony Center's effort to strengthen respect and deepen understanding among our diverse faith communities. The Abdul Alim Siddiqui Memorial Lecture tonight is the second year that we are organizing, which was first launched in November 2011. And before we invite the speaker for the lecture tonight, let us view a short video clip to better acquaint ourselves with the man who inspired the idea for the lecture. And he is the late Maulana Abdul Alim Siddiqui. So ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, and enjoy the presentation.
Born on 3rd April 1892 in Meerut, India, Maulana Abdul Alim Siddiqui is a descendant of the companion of the Prophet. Maulana was an exceptionally intelligent child, memorizing the Holy Quran at the age of 4 and earning a degree and distinctions in Islamic theology at 16. He then pursued further studies in law, modern and Islamic sciences. Having lived through political and religious strife in his homeland, Maulana traveled the world for 40 years, preaching the peaceful message of Islam and advocating interreligious harmony across the Americas, Africa, and Asia. As a prolific writer, orator, and scholar, Maulana delivered hundreds of lectures, wrote books and poetry, and was renowned for his spiritual guidance and message of hope and peace. Maulana came to Singapore in 1930. Many people were drawn to Islam through his charismatic leadership and the establishments he helped set up, such as the All-Malaya Muslim Missionary Society, now known as Jamia, one of the foremost organizations that pioneered interfaith work. In 1949, Maulana Abdul Alim Siddiqui, together with other religious leaders and British Commissioner General Sir Malcolm MacDonald, founded the Interreligious Organization to foster greater understanding and peace among faiths.
I met him in late 1950 and 1951, and he was instrumental in formation of the interreligious organization. Mr. George Thompson from the British Information Service was helping them to recruit all the other faiths to come in. As a group, we try to give talks to the people, and we try to bring in the harmonizing among all the religions, and this is where Maulana Abdul Alim Siddiqui played a very influential role, especially supported by Mr. Malcolm MacDonald at that time.
Wherever he went, Maulana's devotion to Islam and humanity impacted countless lives and inspired the establishment of schools, hospitals, orphanages, social and religious institutions, such as the Abdul Alim Siddiqui Mosque in Singapore. His extraordinary dedication illustrates the potential that one person can have in forging one humanity.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope the video has touched our hearts and it will inspire us to follow in the footsteps of Maulana Abdul Alim Siddiqui. And with that, it is my pleasure now to begin the proceedings for tonight's lecture by inviting the chairperson, Sister Teresa Xiao Li Huang, on stage, together with our distinguished speaker for tonight, Venerable Sumana Thero, to deliver the Abdul Alim Siddiqui Memorial Lecture entitled Perspective and Role, Religion, Globalization, and Society. To introduce the topic for tonight, as well as our distinguished speaker, is Sister Teresa Xiao, a council member of Interreligious Organization, as well as the provincial leader of the Canossian Daughters of Charity, the Canossian Mission in Singapore. May I now pass the session to Sister Teresa. Sister, please.
Good evening, President of MUIS, Mr. Alami Musa, Mufti Fatris Bakaram, our former Mufti Sheikh Said Isa, religious leaders, friends. A very warm welcome to this evening's lecture. I'm happy to be here to facilitate this evening's sharing with Venerable Sumana Thero. As you can see, he's a Theravada monk. And when we were chatting earlier, he says, we make it simple. So we will not go into the complexity of what religion is all about. It's going to be a relaxing evening of learning, of experience. And I believe that before we came into the theatre, when we were having dinner, our journey have begun. I hope you have the opportunity to share with one another when you were out for the dinner earlier. So I'm here to support and to facilitate this session with Venerable Sumana. Sri Lankan, born in Sri Lanka, he's a Singaporean now, ordained as a Buddhist monk in Sri Lanka in 1963. He studied Buddhism at the monastery and graduated in 1972. Earlier on, when I was talking to Venerable, I think one of his very passionate work really is the prison ministry. He says by next year, he will be 25 years into the ministry. So what we know is that Venerable has been walking in and out of prison. And that, I think, is not just visiting, ministering to the people there. In 2011, he actually earned his bachelor's degree in counseling. And he does a lot of counseling with different groups of people. And he's currently serving as the Deputy Secretary General of the Singapore Buddhist Federation. So we're very happy to have you here with us, Venerable. So this evening's topic brings us to the question of perspective and role, religion, globalization, and society. You are brought into a space, okay, where I hope you experience something sacred here. It is very encouraging to see so many young people, right? And then we, the not so young, they always say that people of religions, are the old people. But we are not really that old. I remember once when I was talking to somebody and said, my young sisters, then she was asking, how young is the sister? I said, she's 48. Oh, 48, you say she's young. But with the years of experience, the years of training, right? So we are very happy to have Venerable here to share with us his experience, his reflection, and his perspective of what the world is all about, and especially as a Buddhist, working and very much being involved with the people outside. Venerable, please.
Very good evening to all our distinguished guests, friends. Everybody try to avoid the word young, and I say old. They are so scared to say old. Tonight, the chairperson, our dear sister Teresa, dear friend, Mufti Singapore, Dr. Muhammad Fatris, the President of MUIS, Mr. Alami Musa, my dear boss, most honorable Kambing Pasu from Singapore Buddhist Federation, because I'm just second. So he's the boss. And all my dear friends, especially very pleased to see so many of our younger generation members are here. Tonight, the speech, I have a few slides, but while the slides moving, please don't expect me to just follow the slides. Let me move my heart and mind instead of this modern technological gadget. I have one old gadget. It is within myself. Tonight, a speech, perspective and role, religion, globalization, and general public. Also proposed by Most Honorable Comping. And I wholeheartedly agree, because it's very relevant for our society, not only today, from the past to present, I hope for the future also. When we say about religion, we have to think so many aspects. But before going into that, let me just say a few words about today, this memorial lectures, the event. We are going to pay our gratitude and honor to somebody who has been from the religious background. He was done his great service contribution. I have no words to say actually what he has done. I am so poor. Such a great forefather who has pioneered peace, harmony through his religious, spiritual background. Later, I will emphasize also in some place what we are talking and rather boasting about modern, advanced technological development. Everybody is so keen, so engrossed. But what religion can do is more marvelous than that. So-called modern developments, technological wonders, just a few hundred years maximum. But what the religion has done for our life, our not only human beings, all the living beings, throughout the history of this world, when it was began, I don't know what day. From that time to now, it has been rendering this service without any break. The late Abdul Alim Siddiq, actually, he has been a saint-like person. By having this opportunity, I am very humbled to say that I have to add one more step into my life to follow him for what he has done for this whole globe. Especially in Singapore, he has been a founder member of Jamia, who has been rendering great service to this Singapore society, not only to Islam or Muslim. And he has been one of the pioneer fathers of IRO. When he started that, I was not born yet, 1 year late. If not, I would have joined at least with my heart that time. I was in the previous world. Therefore, I feel very humbly, very honored to have this opportunity with the invitation from Harmony Center and MOIS. I'm very thankful to you for giving this opportunity. And to Buddhist Federation, President Venerable, Most Venerable Kwang Seng Mahathira and Secretary General Venerable Kwampi Mahathira, who has to speak today. So he gave me this opportunity. As I say, I am grateful to my boss. Okay, we go ahead with the topic tonight. When we talk about religion, you can see there are two classifications, 2 aspects. One is substantive, second is functional. When we talk about religion, we always see the substance of religion, the importance of the religious path and the things, how deep the religious teaching. The second aspect is functional. Instead of going through the first aspect, substantive, I think I prefer to go to the functionalism, because both represent something very important, but I think we focus more on the second. Substantive. Substantive is meaning looking at religion as simply a type of philosophy or a system of bizarre or strange beliefs. Many people don't understand this. Perspective. Religion originated as and survives as a speculation. They don't know what it's really speaking. Some kind of enterprise about trying to understand ourselves, our world, or our mind setup, or some kind of social, philosophical lives. That's why I say I don't want to touch much about that. You don't mind. Functional. Religion is all about what it does, what it renders. If your belief system plays some particular role, either in your social life, in your society, in your psychological life, then it is a religion. It results in radically different understanding of the nature of religion. Perspective. Religion exists to help us survive in the world. Very important. Whether by binding us together harmoniously, socially, or by supporting us psychologically and emotionally, and to bring a unity to preserve our sanity in a chaotic environment. Don't find offensive what I say. Because here so serene, so peaceful, so harmonious, I say chaotic, but outside, not here. It is essential for us to have a combined view of both. That's why I bring the both classification. Above, two aspects to understand the importance as well as pragmatism of religion. Practical aspect of religion. Today, in this MUIS center, with all our IRO members and friends, all different groups, all religionists, please don't find offensive if I talk a little bit more about Buddhism, because as a Buddhist monk, I cannot avoid this. Sister. If not, finally Buddhists go and accuse me, Venerable Suman has gone to Islam. Buddhism has been a transnational phenomenon, not only recently. From the early centuries of its development, Venerable Kwamping Mahathira just now mentioned what the Emperor Asoka's time he has done. One of our members today inside this gathering also asked me. I told him that is the time the Buddhism spread to many parts of the world, Emperor Asoka's time. So it went globally earlier, not now. But the present day, the globalized Buddhism is, we can say, is more practical, more pragmatic when we come to that. Even though Emperor Asoka's period, it was really, really practical. One point I take out from Venerable Kongping's the statement, he said, must live in harmony. Asoka's edicts in India until today fine. Not only among human beings only, even with other living beings, animal beings, environment, people must live in harmony. You see, harmony is how important. That is why our forefather, Abdul Alim, to have to spend his whole life for that. So important. He never spent time to develop some new iPhones. When speaking of Buddhism as understood and practiced in the contemporary society, it will become a more complex task due to plurality of views and vast arena of practice traditions. If I'm going to talk about different Buddhist traditions and all those, I think I have to talk 24 hours, not few minutes. There has been a surge in interest in Buddhism, Buddhist philosophy, and practice in countries around the world, particularly the Western countries recently. The recent means also about more than 200 years ago. Those famous scholars, Dr. and Mrs. Rhys Davis, Wilhelm Geiger, all those people, Max Muller, they were Buddhist scholars. Some went to Sri Lanka to study Pali language, to learn Buddhism. But what I realized from their books and all those, they were more concerned and more focused on, once again, substantive religion, the substantive aspect. Present day, Buddhism is spreading around the world, but they are more concerned. Sister Teresa, you are, just now I overheard, you are starting a training center somewhere, Myanmar or somewhere. Yeah. That means you are more focused on the practical, pragmatic aspect of religion now, which is a very, very urgent and fundamental need. Because of that, when I say about Buddhism, why people come to Buddhist religion? Few reasons. In general, Asian Buddhist,